Good morning, guys. So, in our last session, we have discussed a couple of, we started discussing about some security services. So, here in today's session, we are going to discuss a couple of more security services. So, these security services are bit important when coming to day-to-day activities, mainly ACM. We are going to discuss that ACM along with ELB. Cloudfront, not that much important when coming to real time. But for certification exam, you can expect sometimes, if it is a cloud practitioner, you can definitely expect one or two questions. And for solution architect certification exam, so you have a chance to get one question on this cloud front. So I'll show you how exactly this works. WAF Shield, we will definitely discuss about these services. And we have another service under the security, that is AWS Inspector. So that also we will discuss. So first, when coming to this ACM, so for any of your application, so if you want to deliver with HTTPS protocol, see in our ELB session, I told you that we are going to discuss ACM, Amazon Certificate Manager, later of this course, right? So we discussed that, we are going to discuss about this ACM later of this course and all, right? So when coming to ACM, ACM stands for Amazon Certificate Manager. We even call it as a certificate manager. We have a service where we can generate our own SSL certificate and where we can apply that SSL certificate to our resources, either it is a CloudFront or load balancer, or if you have any API gateway there, we can associate all these certificates, right? So let's navigate and let's quickly create one certificate. But before that, I want to create some resources where I want to show my application is delivering with HTTP protocol, where I want to deliver my application with HTTPS protocol, right? So for HTTP to HTTPS automatic redirection, yes, at application level, we need to do a couple of things that we will discuss. So I am navigating to EC2. I'm navigating to EC2. And launch instance. Amazon Linux 2 AMI, T2 Micro. So you can choose any of the VPC. If you have default VPC or custom VPC, you can choose that. And let me quickly pick that Bootstrap script. So this is a Bootstrap script. I'm going to pick. So this is my web server. So I have copied it. Then next, it clicks. This is web server. And I'm going to choose an existing security group, Linux SC, port number 80 is open for everyone, review and launched. So now let's assume you have a couple of web servers and you want to deliver that to all the outside world by using load balancer. So for that, so let's jump into load balancer and let's create a load balancer. Navigating to load balancers. Create load balancer. You can choose any of the one. I'm going to pick application load balancer. And here we need to give a name. So app ELB is the name I'm giving. IPv4, and I'm going to make it as an internet facing, and I'm going to choose the default VPC. So then click on next. And okay, we have opened only HTTP port here. So that's why whenever we click on next, it is giving this warning. So we really don't want to get this warning. So navigate to previous, scroll down, So here I'm going to add another listener and I'm going to open HTTPS. So basically HTTPS stands for secure over HTTP. Secure over HTTP. Hypertext transfer protocol secured or secure over HTTP is a simple one. HTTP stands for hypertext transfer protocol. So simple. Whenever data is uploading to that website or whenever data is downloading from that website, so it's going to encrypted end to end. The data is going to be encrypted end to end, right? So now we want to implement that. So we are selecting 443, then click on next. So here we need to choose an certificate. Do we have any certificate? No. Now let's navigate to ACM. Whatever the domain name you decided to map to this particular load balancer. So we need to create a certificate for that particular domain name. So navigate to Route 53 and verify whether we have hosted zone or not. So here is a Route 53. So I want to map avinash.tk. Avinash.tk is my domain name. So I have a hosted zone for that. So here is a hosted zone. I have only two records, that is NS record and SOA record. NS record and start of authority record. So then I'm going to create another record. Click on create record. So do you want to, what domain name you want to map? For example, you want to give test1.test.avinash.tk. You want to send this to one resource and test2 or blog. If you want to give anything, you can give it. But I'm going to map it to top level domain name and I'm going to enable alias as yes. And here we are going to choose. Okay, so this mechanism we already know. So for this particular domain name, so as we are going to map it, we need to create a SSL certificate here. So grab the hosted zone name, then go back here, click on provision certificate, click on get started. Request a public certificate. If we purchase any of the certificate, from any of the third party service provider, we do have an option to import that certificate. For example, GoDaddy sells an SSL certificate. We have many. VeriSign, I think, SSL certificate. VeriSign also sells. GoDaddy, I know that. And we have many actually. Big Rock sells SSL. DigiCert, yeah, this is widely used one, guys. DigiCert is widely used one. Okay, so or you can even use Amazon service also. Whenever you are using such type of third-party services, then you need to enter. Whenever you create a certificate, there you are going to get a certificate body, certificate private key. You need to provide those two. Then you can click on next, and you can add a tag, and you can review. Just couple of steps, right? So but in our case, we are going to use Amazon own service. So we are picking that, click on request a certificate. Then what is a domain? If you want to create it for subdomain, of course you can do that. But in my case, it is top level domain name, that is avinash.tk. I have given that, then click on next. So how you want to prove ownership on this domain? See, can I simply go and give google.com? Of course I can click on next. But now I need to prove ownership on the domain. So whenever you prove ownership on the domain, then only we will get the certificate. So I'm giving avinash.tk, then click on next. So how you are going to prove your ownership on this domain? By using DNS validation or email validation. Whenever you pick email validation, so you are going to get an email. So related to like what email you use to purchase a domain and all, there we will get an email. Then we need to. So this is the easiest option, DNS validation, and most of the times we prefer to go with the DNS validation only. where exactly we have hosted this domain, where exactly we hosted this particular domain. In that particular location, we need to create a record. The record type and all, it will give you what should be the record type, what should be the record name, what should be the record value, what should be the record name, and record name should be this. Record name should be this. Okay, so I lost the power connectivity. So I hope you guys are able to hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, thanks for confirming that. So we are going with the DNS validation. So then click on next. So do you want to provide any tags? So we can give the tags here for what application, what is the cost center tag and all we can give it. Then click on review. So we are creating an SSL certificate for avinash.tk and we choose the validation method as a DNS. Click on confirm and request. So now request is in progress. It is not yet completed. Now we need to prove the ownership as I mentioned. How we can prove the ownership? We need to create a CNAME record in the hosted zone and record name should be this, record value should be this, record type should be CNAME. If you are using Route 53, a single click can do that. Otherwise, go to Route 53, create record. So then what is the record type? CNAME. Go here and pick the CNAME and record name we need to give here. So this is a record name. Copy this, provide that here. This is a record name. Okay, so you don't need to enter this dot avinash.tky because it's already is there dot avinash.tk. Before that, how much whatever the record we have, we can give that record name, CNAME, record value, whatever the one you got here, copy it, paste it here. Okay, so then click on create record. So now one record is creating. Otherwise, you can simply click on create record in Route 53, click on create. That's it. So this DNS record was created here. Okay. So now we need to wait for a couple of minutes. Click on continue. It will show you the status. What is the status of this, whether it got completed or not. See, okay, immediately we have seen that status is issued. It is not even taken some couple of minutes. So the certificate got issued. Now we can use this certificate. Now while creating this load balancer, go here, give a quick refresh and it will show you how many certificates we have. And remember, this SSL certificate is a region specific one. That means I'm creating a ACM certificate in Mumbai region that I can use only for Mumbai region resources. So I'm using that here. Then click on next. Security group. Make sure your security group opened with HTTPS as well. So let's go and click on next. Target group. AppTG is a name I'm giving. Health checks. It is going to perform health checks to index.html. Then scroll down, click on next. Review. So HTTPS is not open, so that's why we got this here. And we need to go to the TLBSC and we need to open that. But okay, so now let's navigate to security group of this and let's open 443. Otherwise, it's not going to deliver. Edit. Yes, opening for everyone. Save rules. Okay, it's raining here in Hyderabad, so because of that, the power got disconnected multiple times in between. And so now we launched an application load balancer and we have opened port number 80 and port number 443. Before that, let's go and let's verify whether this web server is delivering that web page or not. Oh, any issue with this web page? Let me quickly get connected to that. Oh, I think I used wrong script. Okay, no issues. I user yes. HTML. All right, it's not created anything. Ah, this is the script I used. Okay, so here we got the web page. Now, so we want to deliver same web page via load balancer, and let's navigate to load balancer, and here it is active. So let me grab the DNS name, and I'm going to give the DNS name here. Huh. Come on, what happened to these? Let's navigate to target group, verify, no register targets. Register target, I'm selecting and include as pending below register. I think I haven't selected any of the EC2 instance in that screen. All right, no issues. So here is a load balancer, here is a target group, and this target group is evaluating the health check. So if it is healthy, it's going to deliver that web page. Okay, it's healthy. Now navigate to load balancer. So then pick the DNS name. Give the DNS name here. So here you can find this is what the web page. This is our web page where we want to deliver this. Right. So now I want to access the same by using my domain name. So let's navigate to Route 53, create record, and I'm going to use a record type, alias as yes, and I'm going to choose application load balancer. Then I'm selecting Mumbai region. Then I'm selecting my load balancer. Then click on create record. So now whoever is trying to access this avinash.tk, that request will come to this particular resource and it is going to deliver. So basically it's going to take a minute or two to get affected. So now meanwhile I'm going to give ipconfig plus DNS. So then navigating here avinash.tk. So I'm using specifically HTTP protocol, that only HTTP protocol will work. If I'm trying to use https://avinash.tk, so this is browser cache, guys. So okay, so basically it's going to work. HTTPS also works, It's not browser case. So we have opened the port number here in the load balancer. So whoever is trying to access on port number 443, that means HTTPS, that is also working. Okay, so now we are able to deliver our web page by using HTTPS protocol. That is absolutely fine. But one thing, it is working with HTTP protocol as well as HTTPS protocol. But if you observe applications like, I'm navigating to Google, I'm giving HTTP google.com. But what is happening? It is automatically redirecting to HTTPS. See, it is automatically redirecting. So such type of HTTP to HTTPS redirection, if you want to configure, we need to add an rewrite rule. Add rewrite rule in web server config page. So what exactly we need to add rewrite? So I have a Git article HTTP to HTTPS. So this is the one where you can use. So this is an article. This is a rewrite rule where you can go and add. If you are using Apache, then go and add this rewrite rule below virtual host. If you are using Nginx, then go to this Nginx configuration file and add this particular rewrite rule. So what is the advantage? See, when we are giving refresh, only HTTP is loading, not the HTTPS. Okay, so it is showing not secured, but it should not happen, right? Whenever it is not secure, whenever we are specifically giving HTTP, it should redirect to HTTPS. So for that, now navigate to web server. Let's get connected to the web server. And the configuration exists in this particular location. When you give ls, here you can see we have a file called http.config. Now open that vim http.conf, press I to go to insert mode. You can find virtual host listen port number 8. See this. So this web server is listening on port number 80. So at moment. So now go and add an entry below to this. So press I, then click on enter. Now go and copy this. Copy this, paste this here. Then press escape, :WQ. As we did some modification to the configuration file, restart the service. Service httpd restart. Service got restarted. So now just observe, so far it is showing not secured, and technically it is using HTTP protocol, right? So that's why it is showing not secured. Okay, so now I'm going to give a refresh. See, automatically it is going to HTTPS protocol. Not only here, guys, I'm going to write down this in our chat box, http://avinash.tk. I'm giving this here. So can you click on that link and tell me which one you are getting, whether HTTP one you are getting, HTTPS one you are getting. I have given HTTP link only, but what's going to happen? It's going to redirect to HTTPS. So which service is doing? ACM, Amazon Certificate Manager, is doing that.
We are getting HTTPS.
Yeah, thanks for confirming that. So this is how exactly we configured application to use HTTPS. Right, this is all about the ACM. So any questions on this, guys?
Yeah, Avinash, as per my thinking, if we want to use the HTTPS, we require this SSL certificate, correct?
Yes.
So where we are using this SSL certificate on route S3 or we are using in the application server?
See, if you want to redirect to HTTP request also to HTTPS, we are going to use that route,
Directly. Yeah,
application level.
correct.
So you are okay to deliver your application with HTTP as well as HTTPS.
Hmm.
In that case, application level, no need to perform any modifications. When coming to at what level this HTTP to HTTPS redirection is happening, so whenever the traffic coming to this load balancer, at load balancer, whatever the traffic coming on this 443, it is going to used with this particular certificate. If you observe here, so it is using this certificate. So the encryption is going to happen whenever you are giving this Avinash.tk, whatever the thing you are going to, so the data is going to be encrypted. So in between, this load balancer is going to take care about the encryption and decryption with the help of the certificate.
Okay. So in this case, we are purchasing this SSL certificate from Route 53, correct?
We have a dedicated service called Certificate Manager ACM. This is a certificate. This is a service.
But it's a fully SSL certificate or it's just some level of security they are providing.
Means it is going to use RSA encryption. If you are talking about encryption, it is going to use RSA 2048-bit encryption.
Okay.
First thing. Second thing, why we are using route 53? Just to map this domain name, the DNS name to this particular domain name we are using. But we created a certificate for this particular domain name, right? Did I answer your question or did I miss that?
Got it. Okay. But there is any cost of this certificate manager?
No, it's not going to cost us. It's not going to cost us anything. So one certificate is whatever the certificate is giving from Amazon, it's going to be free. So if you already purchase a domain name, definitely you can, and you can generate a certificate and you can use that.
Or we can use the third-party certificate also on application level, correct? Without this certificate manager.
Definitely. Yes, we can. So if you want to import that certificate also, we have an option, import a certificate here, where exactly you have purchased, that you can give it here, then you can deliver.
Okay.
Right? Okay, so now let's jump in and let's create another resource, that is Cloudfront Distribution. So basically, Cloudfront Distribution is Amazon's CDN service. This is AWS own CDN service, that is a Cloudfront. So we have many CDN services like Cloudflare, Akamai, and so similarly we have Cloudfront from Amazon Web Services. So the mechanism of this Cloudfront is, so it is going to cache the data, whatever the data is delivering from the origin. Either it is a load balancer data or it is S3 data. So it is going to be cached in nearby edge location and it is going to deliver to the end customer. So here, if you observe, I'm going to take S3 as an example. This is our S3 bucket, or we have a elastic load balancer. So then what's happening? So we have customers across the globe. Whenever you have customers across the globe, for example, this S3 bucket is created in Mumbai region. So here is a customer who is trying to access the data from Hyderabad. Here another customer who is trying to access data from Australia, like let's take Sydney, and some another guy like US and A from New York is trying to access. So for this Sydney guy, the request need to flow over the internet and it need to reach here. For this New York guy also, it need to flow. For this Hyderabad also same. But what happened, whenever the distance is increasing, latency also increases, right? So the time taken to deliver that application or that web page or that request is called as a latency. For this Hyderabad user, okay, it goes via your internet service provider, then it goes to Mumbai, then it will hit the data center. That is fine. But for this Sydney user, how? It is going to flow over the internet and multiple connectivities, multiple hops it is going to switch, then it is going to reach that. So it's going to take a lot of time here also. So now we want to reduce these latencies by using a CDN service, intermediate CDN services. So in that case, what we can do, so this Amazon have a mechanism called edge location. So in between they have edge location. We in Hyderabad we have an edge location. In Australia, multiple edge locations we have. In USA also we have multiple edge locations. Now, whenever this user is trying to access, first the request will come to edge location. Actual data is here. So whenever we created a Cloudfront distribution, the data is going to distribute across all these edge locations. Whatever the data we have here, the data is going to distribute it across all the locations. Okay. So now, whenever this Hyderabad guy is trying to access something, the request first will come here. It will try to access that. If the data is available, then the request is going to deliver. See, in between, who is responsible for data transfer? Who is responsible for data caching in between? AWS is responsible. Whenever you are creating a Cloudfront distribution, automatically Amazon is going to replicate the data here, set of data. If data is not available, what happens, So this, for example, Sydney user is trying to access some data from that is available in S3. So it will come to this edge location, it will try to access. If the data is available here, fine, it is going to deliver from here. But if data is not available here, then the request will go to actual origin. This is what we call it as a origin. Request will go to the origin, then it is going to give reply to the requester. While giving reply, it keeps a copy here. While giving reply, it keeps a copy there and it is going to deliver there. Now, from this same location or nearby location, if anyone is trying to access, this is going to give reply. For example, Amazon Prime Video uses this mechanism. Share Chart uses this mechanism. King Games uses this mechanism. Tencent Games uses this mechanism. Right. So the logic is, okay, for example, one movie got released. And that movie is in Northern Virginia. But let's assume that is a Telugu movie. Recently, one Telugu movie got released in Prime. So from Hyderabad location, many guys are going to access. So what happened? That file is going to be cached in Hyderabad data center, but it is not as big as the availability zone. Edge location also a small infra. So that file is going to stored here. Now from all the Hyderabad nearby users, the actual file is in Northern Virginia. But every file or everything is going to stream from Northern Virginia? No. As the file is cached here, so we are going to get the file from Hyderabad location only. Now we have a disadvantage with this mechanism. So the disadvantage is the file is going to cached here, right? So, for example, you decided to store that files here for coming 24 hours. Within 24 hours, if that any modification happened at this layer, for example, the file got modified, it got renamed, or it is same file name is uploaded with, like, different content. In all these scenarios, this origin won't go and won't look for the updated data for coming 24 hours. That based on the TTL value we configure, time to leave. Based on the TTL value we are giving. So if you are giving TTL value as 24 hours, once object is copied here for coming 24 hours, it won't delete from here. First thing, it won't go and look for any modification is happening here on that file. If we are using legacy method, it is not going to. The maximum detail value we can give is 365 days. How we are going to choose a detail value? Based on how frequently our application is going to update. So it varies from application to application. If it is a movie, is it going to change? No, right? That's just a video file, and that video file is going to place here, it is going to stream here. It's not at all going to change. So such type of, we are going to, based on such type of scenarios, we are going to configure. If you want to look for the updated data, or if you want to get the latest data, we can get the latest data, but we need to perform an option called invalidation. Whenever we perform invalidation, it's going to happen. So now let me quickly configure this Cloudfront distribution to understand more. So one thing, guys, we have lot of options here in this Cloudfront, but 99% of the times we go with the default option. We are going to choose the um, you know we are going to choose what is the origin and which method you want to go, legacy method or regular method, that we are going to. So let me pick a bucket. So this is a bucket I'm going to pick. And do I have any policies on this bucket? Let me quickly verify. All right, so now this is my bucket. So within this bucket, I don't have any files. I have only one file, so let's keep that aside. So this is my bucket. So within this bucket, I have some data. These are the files I have. Now same data I want to deliver via edge locations. So whenever we create a Cloudfront distribution, we are going to get a different URL, not the S3 URL. And is this bucket publicly accessible? Let's verify that. Navigate to permissions. Bucket and objects not public, and block public access is enabled. So can we share this object with everyone? For example, I want to share this udemy.txt with everyone. So with this URL, can I share it? No. But without making this data public, or without editing this bucket, bucket public access, via Cloudfront distribution, we can deliver it. So I'm going to show you. So now this is a bucket I'm going to use. Let's go to Cloudfront distribution, and here under networking and content delivery, you can find Cloudfront. I'm going to pick the Cloudfront service. Click on create distribution. Web distribution we are going to create. Click on get started. Now, what is your origin? So my origin is nothing but my S3 bucket. If you want to choose your origin as your load balancer, yes, definitely you can go and you can choose the load balancer also. So it is loading. right? So now I'm going to choose my S3 bucket, avisway.s3.amazon.com. Within that, do we have any particular path? You can get that. So enable origin shield. Basically, this is recently introduced a secured option for the S3 data. So an additional caching layer protect origins availability. Then you can give yes. So origin shield, where exactly? So this is running in Mumbai. We can choose that. Otherwise, you can give it no. That no big thing actually. So now restrict bucket access. So are you okay to deliver all the data by using Cloudfront distribution URL? Or if you want to use S3 URL as well as Cloudfront distribution URL, then you can give yes. Then we need to create a origin access identity and we need to update the bucket policy. So this is important mainly for security perspective. We are going to restrict the bucket access. If anyone is trying to access the data via S3 URL, we are not going to deliver. For that, we are going to create an identity and we are updating the bucket policy. So immediately this bucket is going to update with the bucket policy. Here you observe this is a bucket. Do we have any policy? No at moment. So we can. So if you want to see about that that particular setting, then click here. So if you want to require the user always access your Amazon S3 content using CloudFront URL instead of S3 URL, then click on yes. Okay, that's what I'm doing, and I'm going to update the origin access identity. I'm going to enable. So then, whenever this CloudFront is trying to access data from the S3 bucket, how many times it is going to, how much time it is going to take to get that object or hit that object, and how many seconds the timeout value you want to give, that you can give it here. So then caching behavior. So as I mentioned, for this CloudFront, we are going to get a different URL. Here you can find we are going to get a URL like this. Such type of URLs, are you okay to go with HTTP and HTTPS request? Or if you want to redirect HTTP request to HTTPS, then you can pick that. So you can even go and pick only HTTPS request. But the problem is HTTP request is not going to be delivered. If anyone is giving HTTP, that is not going to deliver. So most of the times we will redirect HTTP to HTTPS. And these edge location, not just read-only location, even it is going to allow write operations also. That is here. So now remaining, I'm going with all default options here. And here. So I told you the first mechanism, use cache policy and origin request policy. So basically, whenever you are using this particular feature, this CloudFront distribution keep on verify is any modification happening on this data. So if modification is happening on this data, then immediately it is going to deliver that here. So this is latest mechanism. So if any modification happened here, immediately that file is going to replicate to all the edge location. So in that case, definitely we can expect some latency like regular. But if you are using legacy cache settings, based on the TTL value only, it is going to deliver. So most of the times, and so many times we use legacy method only. So I'm going to pick the legacy cache settings here. Now, what is the minimum TTL, maximum TTL, default TTL? So click on customize. So once an object is copied to this edge location for coming 24 hours, 86,400 seconds is nothing but 24 hours. For coming 86,400 seconds, the data will be delivered from here only. It's going to store here only. So that given. So if you want to modify, if you want to make that maximum TTL as a 2 years or 5 years, yes, you can change these values. So now 86,400 seconds. I'm going with that. So okay. So I have given 86,400 seconds here. So then if you want to compress the objects, you can give that options here. And I'm going with all the default options here. So then I'll talk about WAF. And as I mentioned, whenever we are creating a CloudFront distribution, we are going to get a URL like this. We are going to get a URL like this. URL bit difficult to remember. So instead of this URL, if you want to map any of the SSL certificate with this CNAME, then you can go and pick that. So you can give, okay, I want to map this avinash.tk domain name to this CloudFront distribution URL. And for this avinash.tk, we need to choose an SSL certificate. So go and pick custom SSL certificate, then go and pick that here. See, one thing, I got this question in my interview. So the question is, we already created a certificate in our, like, you already created a certificate in Mumbai region. Avinash.tk is a domain, and you are trying to create a CloudFront distribution to map that. Whenever you click on this link, it is not able to show the certificate. Then he's going to ask us what might be the reason. So the reason is, this CloudFront is a global resource. So if you want to map any certificate here, that certificate must created in Northern Virginia region. Then only you can use. Sometime back we created a certificate, but that got created in Mumbai region. Am I using same certificate? No. I created another certificate in Northern Virginia for this CloudFront distribution. So I'm going to pick that. So this is a question I got. Okay, so then scroll down, what protocol you want to, and whenever you are giving this just CloudFront distribution URL, do you want to deliver any particular image or web page, then that we can give it as a default root object. I'm really sorry guys. So today it's making things bit difficult. So our issues actually. Ah, come on. I'm really sorry guys. So okay, so we are going to distribute all the data we have here in this origin. We are going to distribute to all the edge locations. If you want to distribute only US, Canada, and Europe, you can pick that. So we've selected all edge locations. So now what happened? We have filled up all this information, and then we are creating a distribution. Click on create distribution. So now CloudFront distribution is creating. So whatever the data we have here in this S3 bucket, whatever the data we have here in this S3 bucket, that data is going to be delivered by using this CloudFront distribution. So how end customer is going to access that? By using this particular domain name. Now we can even do another thing. Navigate to Route 53 and choose what is a domain name you have given as a C name. So to this domain name, I'm going to map this one. So avinash.tk, and this a record, I'm going to delete that existing one. So create record, avinash.tk, I'm going to give alias as yes, and here I'm going to choose Cloudfront Distribution, and I'm going to choose the Cloudfront Distribution WGI. This is the one WGI, then create record. So now whoever is trying to access avinash.tk domain name, that request will come to the Cloudfront. It will come to the Cloudfront, and it will, this avinash.tk, look for this particular domain name, cloudfront.net domain name. Then this contains origin as this. This is the origin. So technically, this S3 data is going to be delivered via Cloudfront distribution, right? So let's grab this domain name and give that here. See here, which one is delivering? When I gave this, so technically this is an S3 object, this file. See, the same. So is this S3 object publicly accessible? When we go here, whenever we are trying to open this, no, that S3 data is not publicly accessible, and the same object is delivered via Cloudfront distribution. Now, similarly, if I go here, if I gave avinash.tk also, see, when I gave avinash.tk, so same udemy.txt image is delivering. Why? Here in this Cloudfront distribution, I have given default root object as a udemy.txt. Now, in this S3 bucket, I have another file. I want to access that file, migration.png. So, to access that file, simple, we can give /migration plus task. See this. Where is this object? This object is in S3 bucket. This is an object. But this object is delivering via Cloudfront distribution. This is a Cloudfront distribution URL. So, same object name, we can give it here. See, same object, this is delivering via Cloudfront distribution. So compared to S3, so accessing this object is very easy. And you might get a doubt. Hey Avinash, how you are saying this object is delivering from nearby edge location? Which mechanism you are using and how you are telling that? You might get that question, right? So now just observe, I'm going to share this image to you guys. I'm pasting this link in our chat box. So can you please click on that link? So whenever you click on this link, you will get this image, right? So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to perform some modification to this image and I'm going to upload this image to my S3 bucket. Let's see, latest file is going to deliver or previous file is going to deliver. So this is the image, right? So I'm going to edit this with paint and just filling up with this black color. Okay, now this image I'm going to upload to S3 bucket. So scroll and drop it to S3 bucket, scroll down, click on upload. Now what happened, the file got uploaded. So if you go here, if you click on, like if you click on open, see, this is the latest file. Whenever we go here, when we are giving whenever we go here, Same's browser cache, come on. Where is that?
It got changed.
Yeah, it should not, basically, it should not change. It is going to deliver the previous one only. Let me pick another browser. Sometimes browser cache also plays some role. Today, my internet is giving big trouble today. And basically it's because of power connectivity. It's going, coming. So this is the image. So now at moment it is delivering. So now whenever we perform some modifications on this and when we upload, let's see what happens. So now I'm going to do some more modification here. So basically whatever modification we perform, no, it's not going to reflect. So okay, so this is the image. I'm going to upload to my S3 bucket. Okay, so then when we go here, whenever we are giving refresh, see this black color one only is delivering. But what is the latest one? The latest one is the yellow color one. But see this, which one is delivering? Even can you give a refresh, guys? If you give a refresh, which one you are getting? You are getting the
Not
black color
changing.
one or yellow color one?
Black one. Black one.
So which one you are getting, guys? So
Black color one.
but the latest one is a yellow color one. If we go here, if you open, so latest one is a yellow color one. So but as it is loading from like as it is loading from Cloudfront distribution, only black color one is loading. Why? Because the black color one is already cached here in our edge locations. So that is a reason. If you perform some more modification, also same. But if you want to deliver this latest one, for example, I decided, okay, so everyone is getting like outdated data, I want to deliver the latest data to them. So in that case, what we can do, we can perform an option called invalidation. So we can create a invalidation, and what data you want to cache. For example, if you want to clear only one particular image, you can do that. Or else if you want to clear everything, I'm giving star. So star means everything is going to be cleared from the edge location. I given star, then click on invalidate. So now everything is going to be cleared. So now whoever is trying to access from edge location, they will get the latest one. So can you give a refresh, please? Whenever you give a refresh,
We
whoever is
got
getting
yellow
the
one.
black color one, you will get a yellow color one. Why? The invalidation. So this CloudFront distribution, as we are performing some invalidation, so it will, the caching data is going to deleted from all these edge locations. After that, whatever the new requests come, it will go and it will get the latest data. So whenever you want to clear the cache from the edge location, you need to perform invalidation. So that is one of the interview question. First thing. And second thing is, based on end customer geographical location, we can either allow or we can deny this CloudFront distribution. For that, navigate restrictions. So at moment, geo restriction is there, it is disabled. Now I want to enable geo restriction. Pick this, click on edit. Now enable geo restriction. So either you can whitelist or blacklist. When coming to whitelist, to that particular countries only, the data is going to be delivered. To that particular country only, data is going to be delivered. That is a whitelist. So pick that whitelist. For example, whoever is in India, only they should able to access this. or else I want to show output. So I'm going to blocklist India. Then click on yes, edit. So whenever you are trying to access this CloudFront distribution from India, this is not going to be delivered. So once you apply, it is going to take a minute or two, nothing more than that. But you can observe this data is not going to be delivered. So let's wait. See here, 403 error. The Amazon CloudFront distribution is configured to block access from your country. Right. So why basically we have applied geolocation restrictions. So otherwise you can even whitelist. I'm whitelisting India. You cannot perform some blacklist and some whitelist at a time. You can choose either whitelist or blacklist. Then click on yes, edit. Now, whoever is in India, only they can access. So it's going to take a minute or two, as I mentioned. See, now we are able to get the file. Whoever is not in India, so they won't get this web page or this link. Okay, so now the task is I want you guys to implement this CloudFront distribution, but with elastic load balancer. So here is my VPC. Within that VPC, create a private subnet, create public subnet. Now launch an EC2 instance here. Make it as a web server. Again, how you are going to get connected, use a jump server. How you are going to make it as a web server, you definitely need NAT instance or NAT gateway. That I'm not going to write. That you need to understand and you need to implement. Okay. So then I want you to run a load balancer here. So on top of this, I want you to implement CloudFront. So this data. So end customer is going to just give route 53 domain name. The domain name should resolve to CloudFront distribution. This CloudFront distribution should get the data from this load balancer, which is running in public subnet. This public subnet load balancer should get the web page from the private subnet EC2 instance. So this is the CloudFront task I'm giving. If you want to, you can give origin as an S3 bucket also. Here is a S3 bucket. Same data if you want to deliver, you can add that also as the origin. That you can take as a secondary one. So take it as a primary one. Okay. So I want you to perform this. CloudFront comes under free tier eligibility. It won't cost us anything. So 50 GB of the data we can deliver via this CloudFront distribution, right? So I'm going to share test1.zip, test1.pdf in our Slack channel. Please spare some time and go through that. And if you want to delete a CloudFront distribution, first of all, disable this. Then you can delete it later on. So it is going to take some time. So once it got disabled, then you can delete it, right? So make sure you terminate all your resources. Like, if you create any EC2 instances or load balancers, make sure you terminate that. So any questions for me, guys?
No.
I'm really sorry today we faced it got disconnected multiple times. So that power connectivity issues.
Avinash, instead of this S3 or the load balancer, can we use this only the simple website, means as a domain name to in CloudFront for the age location to block or the whitelist for the country wise? if like the avinash.tk, if we want to just allow for the specific country, that is workable.
So with Route 53, we can do that, right? Whenever we are using geolocation routing policy.
Okay, but it should be available in the Route 53. If it is not in Route 53, or if we are purchasing from the third party, so that is not possible, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Is a link changed for Google Classroom? I'm not sure, Manoj. So I hope you have Naresh IT's online WhatsApp number or phone number. So please check with them. I basically generally I don't get that links also. They really don't share with me. So please check with them.
I mean, Avinash, I have a question on the DynamoDB.
Okay.
Okay. So basically, when we create the any RDS server,
Yeah. Um. So I'm not able. Can you
okay,
please? Yeah. Can you please speak now?
yeah. See, on the DynamoDB, whenever we create the any RDS server like the SQL or the MySQL, so that time it create the one endpoint, and this endpoint we use in the application config file for the database connection string as a
Yes.
correct. So, but when we create the DynamoDB, so where we can get this connection string means or the endpoint, so we can use in the application because it
So
create only the simple table.
yes, it is creating a simple table, but it is going to give a ARN name. So DynamoDB Amazon own proprietary one. First thing,
Mhm.
whenever you create a DynamoDB table, so what happens? So it is going to give you an ARN name. So we
Okay.
are going to point to this application by using this ARN name.
Okay. So instead
And
of
the
endpoint,
important
we can use this ARN.
yes, and the important thing is your application should be available in AWS environment. Then you
Yeah.
can create a role and you can give associate to an EC2 instance. First thing. Second thing, if your application is running outside of your AWS environment, you need to create an access key ID and secret access key. Then only you can hit this DynamoDB table.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So if you get some time, please go through that tic-tac-tie application demo. Then you will definitely get more understanding on this DynamoDB.
Actually, I also checked one your video on global acceleration. So it just used for the web application based for the globally.
I'll talk about that in our coming session. That's recently we are getting a couple of questions in our certification exam. Definitely, I'll talk about that.
Uh,
Right. So please spare some time and please try to complete this CloudFront task. And I'm going to share a quiz document today in our Slack channel. So please go through that. Right. So that's it for today's session. See you again tomorrow, guys. Thank you.